Matt, talk about this rivalry for the state, for the Big Ten, and what it means to college basketball in the state.
Well, obviously it's big, for both teams, and you're trying to position yourself to, get down as you kind of get to that midway point. Are you going to be in position to try to win a Big Ten title, or where are you going to be from an NCAA standpoint? And we already lost a home game, and you just have to be able to hold serve at home and win. And but no, it's a huge game, for both teams, and the rivalry's big. But more than anything, like just trying to get another win in the Big Ten and try to keep our positioning, where it is. And obviously we got 9 more games to play, but this was a huge win for us. We're very fortunate because the other team deserved to win too.
Matt, what's the message going into halftime and then in the second half? What were kind of the couple of the plays that just turned it in your favor?
I thought they manhandled us a couple times at the rim. I thought they were quicker to the ball than we were. That was first and foremost. I thought Luke Goody had a big hand in the first half. He got away from us a couple times. At least one of them, maybe 2 of them, were spray out threes after offensive rebounds. But I thought he was a big player in that first half. Obviously, Mabako has a huge game, and Trey Galloway was really good in the second half. But yeah, that was it. Trey had not really gotten to where he was working us downhill to his right hand like he did in the second half. So I was just talking about that, that adjustment wasn't in play, even though we understand that's where he wants to get. We wanted to keep him off his right hand, and we just did a poor job with it. I did a poor job with it. We should have been more prepared in that area. But when you have a huge big guy like that roll into the basket and you stick shooters behind you in the outside, like we've made a living off of that, right? And you see Braden Smith play it, and that's what they did. They found Mabako late for that 3, which was a big shot. Trey kept driving and getting fouled, getting the ball there, dumping down to Ballo. So they really had something, and Mike did a good job of just staying with it. And they really had something that was just working right there. We were just fortunate there at the end. Trey Galloway doesn't have the ball in his hands at the end. Let's just be frank about it, because he was making plays. And so now he doesn't have the ball there at the end, and then we were able to get a stop right there, and that was huge.
It seemed like the game plan coming out of halftime was to get Trey up against Ballo in space.
Yes. Just in general, just get Trey the ball in general, yeah.
Is that what you tried to go back to get Trey that game winner? That was a little bit further out than he's normally shooting the ball.
That wasn't clean. And so we come off of it and they stick us and they play good defense right there. And then we wanted to throw back and just go in and have a deep post up, and that wasn't. We were very fortunate there. Trey makes a great play, but give Indiana credit because they pushed him out and made him make a tough, 15-foot jump hook. And he's a good player. Trey's a good player. He needs to come set on a screen so we can play him the whole game. Look at the box right there. He's a plus 21 in 26 minutes. He doesn't have those 2 fouls. We don't take him out. How does that adjust the game where we have a place to go with the basketball and make them play? Because the one thing that you want is you want to play off of Braden Smith and you want to play off of Trey Kaufman-Renn. Now it really brings value to other players that can shoot the basketball. But now when you're just playing off of Braden and you don't have a post-up guy there, that gets to be, that makes it a lot harder on us.
Matt, Jakari obviously had huge plays at the end of both halves and just seemed to have a lot of poise for a freshman in a game of this magnitude. Was that something you noticed about him before he got here, that he was kind of clutch and cool in those situations?
Yeah, he's always made plays at the end of games, whether it's AAU or for Grayson, his high school team. He's always a guy that's wanted the basketball and made plays. You can see how he's starting to get more comfortable out there, on both ends of the court. But I thought he was really good tonight.
They have a slight rebounding advantage, but just, I guess pound for pound overall, physicality-wise, what do you think you got out of your team tonight?
Yeah. Well, I thought we hung in there. I think if you look at what was our biggest strength is being able to force them into 20 turnovers. I think that's what they got to look at and want back. If they just have 15 turnovers, they have 5 more possessions, the game changes. We're looking at it from a rebounding standpoint. So I think we out-rebounded by 1 in the second half, but they had us by 7, I think, in the first half. So I normally go to the possession piece of it more than anything, but hats off to them. Like they deserved to win. They did. Both teams deserved to win. Like we were very, very fortunate, to win the game. So like going back, like you got to look at wins sometimes like losses, not in terms of because you feel good about it. You know what I mean? Like the one possession and they win, you feel awful about it. But we have to do a better job rebounding. When we get into rotations and then we have to rebound, that gets a little bit hard for us. But I didn't think we were quick to the ball. I didn't think we had enough jumpers. You got to jump. You got to go get it. Like we had guys looking. Like, and sometimes people that are mammoth like that are space eaters. Like they'll get you to freeze with their contact. They'll just get you to nail your feet to the ground. But like that wasn't always happening. All right, you're just dealing with one guy. There's 4 guys out there. We didn't have enough guys, flying in there. I thought it was better in the second half, but it still has to be more consistent.
Matt, Raleigh gets the technical in the first half. First, freshman in his first Purdue game. Is that just a teachable moment? Just something quick that
I
happened?
still don't know what happened. They just said he just kept talking. I said he's one of the nicest kids I've ever coached. It doesn't mean like nice people say things that are inappropriate during the game, but it's like they just said he just kept staying with it. So you have to trust their judgment, which we all struggle with.
Mike, Matt, kind of I think second time in the last 3 games you've had to deal with foul trouble.
Yeah.
What happened tonight is that a sign that you see that your bench continues to improve and give you some productive minutes there while guys sit?
Yeah, both the fouls on the screens by Trey Kaufman were good calls. Like you can't move there at the end. They got Indiana on an open court win. They got Indiana on another one. They were very consistent with that. But both of his fouls there were good calls. Like he just missed it. But it's one of those things that if you can end up winning a game, you like the experience that you had. But then if it would have cost you, because you would just go back and look at Trey Kaufman's minutes and how good we were with him on the floor versus we weren't. Like we're a plus 21 with him on the floor and we win by 5. So like if you just look at those other minutes, we really struggled. But I think the experience that they get, I thought Cam Heide, did some good things for us. Obviously Caleb. The thing about having guys in the game, can you function and can they take care of the basketball and can they guard and know what they're doing? And we're getting better at that across the board. Like we were just our functionality is better. Like today wasn't our best day, but I think Indiana had a lot to do with that.
You talked a lot coming into the season about expanding role for Trey and how that was going to lead to expanded production, but it also means maybe kind of taking more on your shoulders in these bigger games. Was there something about him that you thought would also be ready for that moment, just kind of the magnitude of having to be the guy that carries the emotion and the pressure of those moments?
Right, well he's worked really hard, he's put in a lot of time, and I build confidence in guys through just watching them and seeing how productive they are in workouts and practices and things of that nature. So he's always been making those improvements. Now he's got to be more accountable. Like he can't leave the game right there on something. Sometimes you get to where you compete and like you go get a ball, someone slides under you and you just go over their back, but you didn't intend to do that. When you're setting a screen, you're intending to set a screen. Like be legal. And we spend a lot of time on screens. It's very important for how we play. But like you got to be legal. Like that accountability is where he's got to grow because we need him to stay in the game. And then he doesn't like the shuffling back and forth. Well, what the hell are you supposed to do? You got to protect somebody that means so much for you. But then, we don't get him back in there, we're not winning that game, right? But no, he's worked really hard and he's done a great job, and he's one of the best bigs in our league. He's very consistent. Like in the games that he struggles, you're like, man, he's just got to be better. Then you look at the box score and he's got 17 and 8. He's really been consistent for us.
Last one.
Could you go into that last possession, kind of when Indiana's under the floor, with Jakari just able to get in front of Rice and just have good defensive position?
That's what you're hoping, at that point, and he limits himself by coming up the side of the court, so then you can load up a little bit, but he didn't get deep enough, with that drive, and so, you're on the move, so, you got to be able to guard him and to load up right there. And that was for us, our concern in that situation would have been Trey Galloway. That was who was torching us. He was getting to the rim, he was making plays, he was the guy that was feeling it, and Mabaka was just steady. Like he was steady the whole game. I know, yeah, he ends up having 25, but he was like consistent. Had a good first half, had a good second half, and he really got it. So the guys that were getting us, don't have the ball in their hands, and so like now we want to keep that, and you're up against the clock. So we were, like I said earlier, we were very fortunate.
Can you just put into perspective what Jakari and CJ's collective comfort, their improvement, whatever it might be, has meant to your team right now, whether it's CJ rebounding, Jakari defending, both of those guys being able to get out in transition?
Yeah, just, being solid, and, it's really hard when guys, CJ starts and plays 17 minutes. I had him way too much in the second half. I've done that a couple times, but it's hard because you're playing other guys. Like, you're trying to give guys that are playing well, that rhythm, and I get him out of rhythm. But no, they both improved defensively. Their ball pressure has really helped us. We lead the Big Ten in forced turnovers, and I think anybody that covers us would laugh at that, 6-7 weeks ago, me included. And they've just kept getting better. They've kept improving, and now they give us something that we didn't have earlier in the year, but they're also learning to be consistent sometimes with inconsistent minutes. They both play 17 to 21 minutes, and Miles plays 10 minutes. That's hard, man. When you play 35 minutes, you get a feel for what's going on out there. But they've really given us a punch, and they've done a lot of little things for us. CJ has 0 turnovers and GS 0 turnovers. So being able to play the game, not turn the ball over, and do a good job defensively, really helps us.